Hello, it is Throwback Thursday, April 8th, 2021. Steve Cypress here as the sun sets in the west, throwing it all the way back to my college days. Should have thought about this, but it's about 45 years ago now. Coming up on 45 years, 44 years that I entered college, and how I got through college and how that is appropriate to today and to your business. So basically, as the story goes, as far as I can remember, I was asked immediately upon arriving at college and registering for my freshman year, choose a major. And I said, I don't know. And I checked off undecided and I went along. Then after the first semester, they said, hey, I got another notice, choose a major. By the way, it's a liberal arts school. So come on now. And by the way, do not recommend those of you out there with kids or who are kids to go to a ridiculous liberal arts school. You're going to end up in your mom's basement doing nothing like most of the kids with their useless college degrees. But I digress. School I went to, 80-something, almost 90% of the students who graduated went on to graduate school. And so the whole idea was the college degree is meaningless other than it's your ticket to go to more school and basically do nothing for further years, which I did dutifully, follow the lead of my school and my fellow classmates and went on to college, even though I didn't want to become a lawyer, see? So here I was undecided saying, I don't know, whatever, I'm not here to learn anything or to do anything. I'm here because it's what you're supposed to do. And so ignored the notice to declare major again. So now here I came back for sophomore year, registered, and again got a notice, warning, alert, whatever, you need to choose a major. And again, of course, I ignored it. So future entrepreneur alert, not following the rules cannot be contained by the establishment BS nonsense. But I digress. And then second semester of sophomore year, well, now it was a really urgent message. Hey, you need to declare a major. So, of course, at that point, I did not, once again, declare a major and went away after 2 years of taking whatever classes I felt like and came back for junior year and now went to register and now I had a notice you are not allowed to register unless you declare a major. Starting her junior year, get a clue, and it was something about how, or I don't think it was in the letter, but then I talked to an advisor or something. They were like, yeah, you're not going to have time. That's why. You're not going to have enough time to take enough courses to graduate with a concentration, with a major, when you only have 4 semesters left in 2 years. So, yeah, you got to declare something. And so I believe it was one of my classmates that said, come here. Probably, I don't remember who it was, but very likely now also an entrepreneur because he was not into the BS and the rules and the establishment and the way it's supposed to be BS either. And he said, let me see your transcript of all the classes you've taken so far. And he said, hey, you ought to become an American Studies major. I was like, Americans? What the heck? American Studies? Come on, what the heck is that? He said, it's a liberal arts school. Every major is ridiculous, unless you're pre-med and then you want to do biology or biochemistry or whatever they did. But I digress. He said, look, you can shoehorn all these kinds of classes into kind of American studies. Like you've already taken a couple. I had taken a couple of classes in American this, American that, and then I had taken classes in the history department on American history or history of the Civil War or something, and I had taken in the English department because we had to take, one requirement was to take a number of classes in all the different schools, all the different concentrations, whatever, as part of a well-rounded liberal arts degree and all. So for my English class, I had taken some kind of American literature. And for science, I did something, whatever. So anyway, he was like, you can petition to have these classes accepted by the American Studies Department towards your requirement of 12 courses in the American Studies Department or something, of which, of course, I had no almost no time left. I was taking like 4 classes a semester, so I had like 16 classes to go. And he was like, you almost have to take every single class in a concentration in one school, unless you kind of shoehorn a bunch of this stuff in there. And so that's what I did. I petitioned the American Studies Department to accept these various American studies. Oh yeah, I remember even music. Like the music thing I took was, well, see, that was a study of American classical music. Like throw that in there. So there I went, put in my application to become an American Studies major, and they asked what classes you're going to take, and I said, well, I've already taken like 10 of them, and here you go, and put in my thing, and I was invited to have a meeting with the head of the American Studies Department. I don't know if everybody had this when they declared the major. Not likely, because they realistically, honestly, declared a major, and it's not like every student sits down with the head of the biochemistry department because you're pre-med. But when you're half-assing, shoehorning, BSing it like I did, I got invited to a personal meeting with the head of the department, and I sat down, and he was leaning back in the chair with the legs crossed, the arms folded. I didn't know that, I wasn't entitled to get these classes approved towards a study. He held all the cookies, held the keys to me graduating or not, or whatever, having to take every single class in a certain major or not. And I think this might have even been my second semester of junior year, where I had not enough classes left to take to become a major in anything or whatever. And he looked down the list and he said, yeah, here's the deal. Technically, yes, you're right. These were all American type of thing, like this science class I took on heredity or something. I wrote a paper on the Inuit Indians, which technically are located in Alaska. So I was like, there you go, American studies. And there was all this shoehorning and BSing. And he was like, look, here's the deal. We could technically accept all of these, but we're not going to. Because if we're going to hand you a degree in the graduation ceremony, because the graduation ceremonies, just to let you know, at this school, maybe it's like that all over, but there was one for each department, and then the one overall for the whole class of 700 or whatever it was, but every 20 or 50 people from whatever school were handed their degree by, and all the professors that they had taken all their classes with, and all their fellow classmates that they'd been in all the classes with, because that's their major, were all together in a graduation. Said, we're not going to hand you a graduation diploma, whatever it's called, a diploma from this department with you taking like 3 classes in the department. You're not going to have it. So you're still going to have to take, 8 or 10 classes in our department, and I'll accept like 3 or 4 of these or whatever. So anyway, I did graduate. I did get the American Studies degree. I actually also graduated with a legal studies minor. So it was the major in American Studies, legal studies minor, because I was told, hey, that'll help you get into law school, do this legal studies minor. And so I wrote my honors thesis on, of course, what else? Baseball, because I loved baseball. And so I wrote my senior honors thesis on the reserve clause in baseball and the fact that they're exempt from antitrust laws. So it was all about law, and it was all about America, because it was about baseball, the American pastime. And there you go. So anyway. What has this got to do with anything? Okay, here's the deal. Nowadays, you see these politicians are doing the same thing I did to declare a major and to get through college. We shoehorn all kinds of BS and put it all together and lump it in and act as if like that's what we're concentrating on and that's our major. So we already had like a COVID relief bill that had like nothing to do. None of it, like 9% of it or something, had to do with COVID relief. And otherwise, it's like throw in everything else, shoehorn it all in there, whatever the heck you want, and just call it COVID relief. I was like, hey, that's how I got through college. And then now it's happening again with the infrastructure bill, which is like 10% got to do with infrastructure. And now they're like, oh, childcare is infrastructure and community whatever is infrastructure. Sure it is. Here's the deal. And the business lesson is you can do the same in your business. You can put out this false BS bogus messaging like I did to try and wingle wangle and half-ass my way to a college major, or like the current politicians here in the U.S. in power are doing with their bills, picking a name, but then who cares what, just throw everything in there and just say somehow, stretch it to have something to do with the name, I guess, maybe, but not really. It doesn't really matter. Here's the deal. Accountability is the deal. You can do that. And you can say to your clients or to your prospects, you can say, I'm doing a, what's today? It's April. I'm doing a tax day sale. We're doing a tax day. So, well, tax day's been extended a month, but let's just say it's normally April 15th. We're doing a tax day sale. Anyone that comes in on April 15th will get X percent, 15% off. Or we'll get a free gift of whatever. Or we'll get a something. Or everyone who filed their taxes that day. Or everyone who got the, you know, we're doing a COVID thing. Everyone who, this is happening in a lot of businesses, everyone who shows proof of a vaccine is getting a free donut or whatever because of whatever. You can do that, and I recommend you do stuff like that, but you can do it disingenuously like the politicians are doing and like I did at the half-ass shoehorn my way through college like a loser. You can do that in your business as well. You can say it's a tax day thing and then have the entire promotion have nothing to do with tax day. So you can say, hey, we're doing a tax day thing. Anyone who comes in on April 11th gets something. What? That's not tax day. It's nothing to do with tax day. Or you say, we're giving $10.40 off on tax day because of the 1040 form. That's a common one. But you could say, on tax day, we're doing 7.3% off. Well, what's that got to do with that? Nothing. We're just calling it tax day just to get your attention and make you think it's something to do with tax day, but really has nothing to do with tax day. On and on, right? So you can do this stuff. You can have fake messaging like the politicians do and like I did as a ridiculous, rebellious college kid. But here's the deal. I do not recommend it. And the reason why is accountability, right? So I had accountability in the form of that department head of the American Studies department looking at me and going, yeah, not going to work. Not going to work. I'm on to your game, you half-assed, BSing, shoehorning every single possible thing. Because you took a music class, you think that's going to count for American Studies because you studied something about American music, or you read about you took American history in the history department. We're not going to count that either. You go be a history major, you know. So I had accountability. They say we're not falling for your BS. Cut it out. Politicians today basically no accountability, right? We see them all do anything. They can commit any crime they want, and no one's ever lock her up. That ain't ever happening. No one's ever being held accountable for anything. Comey and McCabe and all that. No one's being held accountable. In fact, they all get book deals and TV contracts, and Trump gets to say he's going to run again for office. It doesn't matter what anybody does. Nobody's ever, oh, Joe Biden, Biden's son, oh, that's not my laptop. What do you... I have no idea that a laptop that my signature signed for and witnesses say it was me and it's got my personal stuff on. I have no idea if that's what I see. Nobody's ever going to be accountable. But you, as a business owner, to get serious, are not like me, a rebellious, ridiculous, BSing college kid, and you're not like a ridiculous, BSing politician. You're accountable to your customers and your clients, your prospects, your audience, your patients, your members, whatever it is to you. You are accountable. They're going to hold you accountable like the department head back in my college days and just say, yeah, no, that's BS. So I do not recommend you do what I tried to do in college or what the politicians are doing now. Oh, gun control, that's another one, gun control. Notice how none of the gun control propositions have anything to do with the crimes or would have stopped any of the crimes. Like if laws outlawing guns would stop people from having guns, then why don't they just make a law outlawing cancer? There's a law outlawing cancer. Cancer's gone. We just eradicated cancer. There's a law, well, there already is a law against speeding. Is all speeding gone? There's a law against murder. I guess nobody murders. on and on and on. So total BS from the politicians, and they're not accountable. They all get reelected all the time. The swamp continues to grow, and no matter what they say, they have all sold their souls to the devil to get elected and to stay in office, so they all owe all their special interests, all the everything. Teachers, even if the teachers want to teach, not up to the teachers, up to the union, who of course owns the politicians, and the politicians do what they say, not what's best for the teachers, for the kids, for the nation, for anybody. They do what's best for their special interests. So they're not accountable. Do not use this, my advice, as a model for you doing the same thing and having a BS naming device for your stuff and naming your things something that it has nothing to do with, right? So if you're a chiropractor, you wouldn't say I have a special adjustment package where you get one haircut and two pairs of shoes, and that's got nothing to do with chiropractic. Stop being a politician. Stop being like Steve Cypress going through college and putting all kinds of nonsense and calling it something it isn't, okay? Call it what it is. Be accountable, be honest, be upstanding, not like the politicians, not like I was in college. That's today's Throwback Thursday lesson. And we got some people that are on here. Phil Brakefield is here, my good friend Phil, who I know is any day now coming out with his life's fantastic work of stories, The Philadelphia Kid. And what do you got here, Phil? I took American rock music. Yes, but not in college. Phil actually took American rock music by going on the road with some of the greatest all-time rock and roll bands. And there's a little preview of Phil's upcoming book where you can read stories of Phil traveling around and hanging out with Jimi Hendrix and Three Dog Night and, I don't know, who else? Elvis and, I don't know, you name it. Phil did take American rock music, but he took it in the School of Life, which I highly recommend everyone study and learn and be educated in the School of Life, not in one of the colleges or universities that basically do nothing for anybody here in the U.S., unless, with the caveat that unless you absolutely need that kind of degree for something you really want to do. You want to be a veterinarian? Well, then yes, you're going to need a college degree, some kind of graduate degree in medicine, and so forth. But just like I did, got to go to college because the parents want, and everyone in high school's doing it, and that's what you're supposed to do. But I don't know what I want to be. I don't want to declare a major. I don't really care. I don't want to go to classes. I don't want to. Not the way to do it, folks. And that'll do it for Throwback Thursday. Thank you, Phil. Thanks, everyone else, for being here live, watching on the replay. I see all kinds of likes coming up. Thank you for those. And as the likes come up, the sun goes down. Hope you have had a fantastic Throwback Thursday as well. I'll catch you back here tomorrow on Foundation Friday. Over and out. Bye-bye.